Hi, movie recapped here. Today I'm going to explain an American independent science fiction film called Embers. Spoilers ahead. Watch out and take care. In the near future, a strange virus spreads around the world, causing people to get retrograde and anterograde amnesia. It spreads like wildfire and takes over the world in no time. All developments halt as a result of the epidemic. Some wealthy and powerful individuals of the society prevent themselves from getting the virus by hiding in bunkers. A decade after it has destroyed the world, only a few people survive. They live in a decaying landscape, unable to recall the past or create new memories. Every day they wake up to a new life and don't remember anything about themselves. In the opening scene, we are introduced to a man and a woman. They wake up next to each other in a rustic apartment. Both of them are confused as to how they ended up together. They don't even remember their names or anything about their lives. It is evident that they have been infected by the virus. The two seem calm for people who just woke up next to a stranger. The woman feels like she knows the man but doesn't remember how the man claims he feels the same way. They discuss how long they might have been in the apartment, but come to the conclusion that it might be their first day. This is how I felt during the third COVID lockdown. Then the men notices similar blue bracelets tied to their wrists. He thinks it indicates that before they lost their memories they wanted to be together. The woman agrees and doesn't question the stranger since he feels familiar. Somewhere else in the town, an abandoned kid runs around the street mumbling a melody. He meets a stranger who asks him questions about his parents. When the child doesn't answer, the man simply invites him to join him in his journey. When everyone has amnesia, you don't even need an ice cream truck to abduct a child. They continue walking to no particular destination. The boy wants to play with the man's watch, so he hands it to him. He tries to explain the concept of time to the kid but fails miserably. A while later, the boy gets distracted by a mirror on a pile of garbage by the side of the road. The stranger walks away talking to himself about time and space, not noticing that the kid is no longer with him. Some seconds later, the kid runs to him, but by that time the man has already forgotten him. He introduces himself again and asks the kid about the watch. He comments that it is too big for the kid and wears it himself, not remembering that he gave it to the boy a few moments ago. Eventually, they reach the remains of a house where the man dances with an umbrella to entertain the kid. Somewhere else in a fancy bunker, a young woman named Miranda does her early morning routine that has been the same for as long as she can remember. A computerized program asks her to introduce herself for a regular checkup to ensure she hasn't gotten the virus. The computer asks her name, her birthplace, and her birth date. It is revealed that Miranda has been in confinement for the past 9 years. She is then told a scenario and asked questions about it. When she answers all of them correctly, the computer declares she has passed the regular diagnostics. The likelihood of her being infected is less than 0.12%. Although Miranda is in the safest place one can be during an epidemic, she is not happy with her life. The routine she has been following for the past 9 years bores her to death, and she feels like life outside would be much more enjoyable even if it is dangerous. Another man who has been infected by the virus is a teacher who lives in a secluded house near the woods. He has adapted to life as an amnesiac better than other infected people. He has maintained a journal that helps him understand why he doesn't remember anything. He also leaves himself notes briefing his daily activities he should perform. A rope is tied from his house to a nearby river to help him navigate the way when he goes out to fetch water. Back in the apartment with the couple, the woman finds a can of preserved fruits in a cabinet. They might have left it there the previous day, but they aren't sure. It's cute that these two are in love and all, but would it kill them to leave themselves a note? She tries the food and gives it to the guy after making sure it tastes good. While eating, she tucks her hair behind her ears, and the man excitedly claims that he knew she was about to talk it. Although he doesn't know anything about himself, he somehow remembers the little things that the woman does. She walks up to the mirror and looks at herself, taking in her appearance. They discuss the possibility of their being relatives, but since they look different from each other, they cut the possibility of them being siblings. The woman assumes they're still married and the man smiles at the idea to test it. They kiss each other. The passion while they kiss makes it clear to them that they are in fact a couple, or they're making a huge mistake in the following sense. We're introduced to a thug who, after being infected, has been killing and robbing people for food and supplies. He notices the little kid and his new mentor from earlier. They're sitting down eating a canned drink. The thug attacks demand and kills him for the drink. The kid is left alone, but he doesn't express sadness on his mentor's death. He simply takes the watch off the man's wrist and walks away. Back in the woods, the teacher reads the notes and cooks food according to the instructions. While lounging, he discovers a book on his desk that he had written before the pandemic. In the meantime, the couple from the apartment talks about their relationship. They think of a name for each other and decide to go with Ben and Jenny. They're falling in love for the 100th time like they have done every day for the past decade. Ben suggests they check who else is in the building to get a better understanding of where they are. They walk out and see the building consists of many rooms similar to theirs. After exploring one of them, they decide to return to their room, but have forgotten where it is. They enter a random room, but Ben suggests that they should find themselves something better than the dusty rooms of an abandoned building. Hence, they pack the clothes from the closet and start their journey outside. Back in the bunker, Miranda is exercising with her father like usual. He is the only other resident of the facility. While eating a pre-packed dinner, they talk about their day. It is revealed that Miranda plays the cello to keep her busy throughout the day. Her father knows that Miranda isn't happy with her life in the bunker, but his first responsibility is to keep her safe, so he cannot allow her to go outside. The little kid from earlier is now wandering around the town alone. He meets a young girl in front of her house. She invites him in and asks him to stay with her forever. Even an amnesiac should recognize that this is creepy as hell. They eat good food and play with her stuffed toys. In the following scene, Ben and Jenny reach an empty swimming pool. Ben watches his wife with a smile as she plays on the slide and skips around. The thug from earlier is also lonely. He plays alone in a kids' park until he sees a woman and chases her. After a struggle, she manages to get away and he gets distracted by a horse and forgets what he was doing. At the same time, Ben and Jenny walk together while humming a song. They have forgotten the purpose of the trip. They enter a chapel that they think is oddly familiar. After spending some time there, they go to a room and make love. At night, they sit in front of the fire talking about several things. They quickly register that the next day they will be strangers again. Hence they shouldn't fall asleep in order to remember they love each other. The following morning, the kid wakes up on a pile of toys. He doesn't remember how he got there, so he escapes through the window. While roaming around the woods, he meets the teacher and follows him home. The teacher is not happy about his presence at first, but opens up to the boy with time. He feeds the kid good food and teaches him how to chop wood, claiming that he is an expert in the task but doesn't know how he learned it. Ben and Jenny, on the other hand, have eventually fallen asleep. They wake up as strangers yet again. They repeat the conversation from the previous day and get along. Moments later, they are roaming around town while talking. This time they need each other. Max and Katie. Katie hurts her leg, making it bleed profusely. Max quickly runs away to get some water for her, asking her to wait for him. He gets a bottle of water but doesn't remember why he was looking for it in the first place. He drinks it and walks the other way while Katie still waits for him to return. Somewhere else, the thug is in a parking lot breaking cars out of anger and for entertainment. After he becomes tired, he gets inside one of them and falls asleep. He is woken up by a gang of men who dragged him out of the car and beat him up. A few minutes later, they leave him alone. The thug walks to the terrace while sobbing. He sees a person in the street below and starts throwing glass bottles at them, completely forgetting what he was crying about just a few seconds earlier. In the bunker, boredom gets the best of Miranda. Playing cello doesn't excite her anymore. She braids her hair to keep herself entertained, but that doesn't work either. At dinner, she suggests they get out of the bunker to check if the world has gone back to normal. Her father argues that they would have gotten a message long ago if that were the case. He is adamant about living safely for as long as it takes, but according to Miranda, they are only waiting for their inevitable death. When Max doesn't return for a long time, Katie forgets who she was waiting for. She walks away and spends the night under a bridge. She is alone, called, and misses something but doesn't know what. Meanwhile, the teacher and the kid get along well. He teaches the kid to ride a bicycle and has become his guardian to ensure that he doesn't run away and forget his way back home. He ties him to a roll of wool and lets him play in the woods. The kid plays around the entire day but returns home in the end. In the bunker, Miranda plays cello for her father for the first time. She asks him to come outside with her, but he doesn't agree. When the computerized voice takes Miranda's test the next day, she deliberately answers incorrectly. At night, she packs up her belongings, determined to leave the bunker and live a life of her own accord. She leaves her father a note saying goodbye and enters the exit tunnels. After getting lost for a little while, she finally reaches the outside world and smiles, taking in the beauty of nature. Moments later, she walks off into the distance, living her life for the first time. Back in the town, Katie is living off the food she finds in the garbage. It begins to thunder, so she takes shelter nearby where a guy with a similar bracelet stands by her. The guy turns out to be Max. The movie ends as they stare at each other, almost as if they remember their past together. Subscribe for more videos like this, turn on notifications, and leave a like to help the channel out. Thank you for watching.